any program on WURD Radio do not necessarily reflect those of the ownership, management, or advertisers of this station.
I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
All right, people, write something on the board. Let's spell it. First letter.
L O G.
What's that? What?
It's time. It's time to have real, honest, open, difficult, and inspiring conversations. It's time for Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hello there, family. Hello, 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 and happy Monday to you. Monday, August 28th. Woo! We are knocking on September's door. Welcome. Welcome to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. I'm just so happy to have you with us. Just so happy to have you join us. We're always grateful to spend time with you, as you know. And if you didn't know, I'm here to tell you. So, family, how is your day going? Here we are at the beginning of the week. You know, I like to do a check-in. You know I do. You know I do. How was your weekend? All that good stuff. Tell me all about it. Tell me all about it. I would be terribly remiss if I did not thank each and every one of you tremendously. Thank you to everybody that came to our show on last Thursday at the Dell. And thank you to those of you who wanted to do so. How about that? How about thank you to you as well? I am sending all the love I can muster in this very moment to each and every one of you, and to everybody that sent supportive thoughts, encouraging vibes, and all of that good stuff. You hear me? It really, it always feels so good to perform at home. But it was euphoric. Last week was just really euphoric. It just felt so good just to be in front of all of you. And I'm so sorry I didn't get to see you all because of the construction at the Dell. I didn't really get to come out and get my hugs like I promised. But you know what? I'm holding those hugs because you're going to get them. You just couldn't get them last Thursday. But we had so much fun. Y'all, listen, I don't know about you, but I was just in awe watching the OJs, watching Dave Hollister. Like, it was just, everything was fun. It was just fun. So I just want you to know that every fiber of my being thanks all of you for your love, your support, for those who came, those who wanted to do so, all of that good stuff, and all the energy that you constantly send. So I want to know about you. I want to know how your weekend was, you know, how your Monday went today, how it's going. How about that good stuff, you know? So you know what you can do. You can call me if you want to do so. You know, I welcome your phone calls. And you can do that by dialing 215-634-8065, or you can call me toll free at 1-866-361-0900. And if you're joining us on our socials, you can always just send us a hello from there. And but don't forget, tell me what you did. I want to know all about the weekend, okay? I want to know all of it. You know, I always ask. Monday is our recap. Come on. And to our family members who are simply listening, hey, love bugs, you know that I feel your presence and your love, and it is always greatly appreciated. It's always felt and greatly appreciated. You know, I'm sending some extra love to those of you whose light is shining dimly today, as I always do. Just know, you hear me? You just know. It's just today, just today, just today. This too shall pass. Sending extra love to those of you who are navigating the loss of a loved one. just, just some extra love to you, and sending condolences to the loved ones of American game show host Bob Barker. Bob, he passed away on August 26th at the age of 99. Bob Barker. Oh, I mean, the memories, y'all, just the memories of me watching The Price is Right. I was so fascinated with that little microphone that he had. It looked like a lollipop to me. It just looked like a little gumdrop lollipop. Anyway, y'all know I get carried away. But what I want to do is take a moment to go to our socials and acknowledge our family members that are checking in. Hey there, Malcolm, brother Malcolm. He's sharing that he is watching and listening from West Mount Airy. Good evening to you too. Thank you, thank you. Hey, there's my boop, Carly. She is showing some love to us. Hey, beautiful. And brother Nasir. Hey there, brother Nasir. He shares blessings. Oh, he came to the show. And you said you were. And I was so looking forward to just say, hey, I'm so sorry I didn't see you in person. But he shares that the show was awesome. It was just really a good time. It was just a good night. It was, his grandson had his first football game, 9 years old. I hope you took lots of picture and video because you know I love the babies. I hope you took all the pictures and the video. Okay. Wait, did he have a good time playing his first football game? Was it fun for him? I want to know. I want to know all the details. And Alfred is joining us. Alfred Evans. Hey there. Welcome back. Happy to have you here again. And he's sharing that he spent the weekend enjoying blessings. Ooh, I know that's right. I know that's right. That made me feel good when you said that. Hey there, Melissa. Melissa's joining us, and she shares a good evening to everybody. Still, I love that. I love that. And Howard Harris shares that he is still dazed from Mike's show before me. Well, you got to fill me in because I was running around today and I was unable to catch the broadcast before I joined you guys. And normally I do. I normally have it on, and I was unable to do so today. Fill me in, Howard. Please tell me what happened. Tell me what's going on. Tell me what happened because I missed it. I missed it. And one thing I did miss was for those of you who are celebrating a birthday. If today is your birthday, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. I hope you are being celebrated. Okay, like never before. Like never before. So, family, today is Monday. You know what we like to do on Monday? We like to talk with our resident clinician. We like to talk about some things in life. I'm anxious to talk about this conversation. Well, I'm always anxious to talk to Farida. Y'all know I am. Y'all know I like it when Farida comes. I'm always anxious to have the conversations that we have. But for those of you who are unfamiliar, Farida Boyer, that is to be exact, is the executive director and co-founder of the Black Brain Campaign Association. And she is our resident clinician. She's here to talk with us about comforting a significant other when they're grieving the loss of a loved one. So, family, I invite you to the conversation with none other than Farida Boyer. Hey there, beautiful.
Hello, how are you?
I will not complain. I will not. Wait, did you get new glasses? Did they new specs?
No, they're not new.
They look like new specs. Okay. I got to check with
Sometimes I
you.
have them on, sometimes I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how was your weekend?
Busy as usual, I guess. You
That's
know what? I
okay.
had the opportunity to go to Councilman Johnson's block party. That was a lot of fun. So, yeah, that was what I did. That was fun this weekend. But yeah, that's it.
I missed it.
Yeah,
I
it was a lot
worked
of fun.
all weekend. I worked all weekend. I was gigging. I was chirping on Saturday and Sunday. I was working. Praise God. So that's not. I'm not saying that. Yeah, I'm not saying that I have any problem with it. Yeah, I want to be clear. I don't want to send mixed messages.
No, not at all.
I had a great time, but yeah.
Yeah.
But just one moment, because our family members who did respond to me on our socials, Howard shares that maybe it was a good thing that I missed the show that preceded mine. But Howard, tell me what happened. Tell me what happened. And Nasir, I'm so happy to know that you took plenty of pictures because those memories, those moments right there. I get it, especially, when we get older. I remember family members of ours showing us pictures of us when we were kids, and it used to crack us up. Oh my goodness, it used to crack us up looking at us ourselves as we were babies. We had a thing for, you remember the tape recorders back then? Farida, you remember those tape recorders? I was obsessed with the tape recorders. I carried a tape recorder everywhere I went, and was always. I know it sounds so crazy because now you think those things were huge when I was
Right.
little.
Right.
But I carried it, and here I go sharing again, but just indulge me for a moment, family. So I liked commercials. So it was always honeycomb, like, the commercials, because they were always sing-songy.
Right.
You could sing every commercial, or remember Angelique, I can bring home.
Yeah.
What? They
Yeah.
had the best commercials back then. And
But it's not surprising because look at the work that you do now. It's all intertwined. So that's definitely not surprising.
It's right.
Yeah.
Right. But I used to carry my little tape recorder around. So of course I did not remember having done that. But my mother, she saved those cassettes and had played them for me at one point. It's like, oh my Lord. But it was a good memory. So Nasir, I hope you took plenty of pictures and videos so you can show little man his first football game. So Farida, this conversation here today is the heavy one. It's kind of heavy. It's kind of heavy, but it's a good one though. And, when I was thinking about talking about it today, I just thought about all of the loss and detachment that we've all been experiencing in even the past few years. I'd say like the past 5 years. I know so many of us have lost so many people.
Even when you're talking about COVID, just like everybody lost somebody.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it has impacted almost all of us in some way.
I agree with that, and I'm thinking, like, because COVID added another layer to the grieving process. Speaking from my own personal experience, one of my family members, he was one of my cousins, David Riddick, and everybody knew David. Everybody knew him, but when he took ill, we couldn't go to the hospital to see him because it was in the midst of COVID. And I know so many other people that had that same experience, but that added just layers of more hurt.
And it was shocking. Just my husband had an incident during that time. He had gotten sick, and he had to go to the hospital. So I'm like getting ready to go with the ambulance, and the ambulance like, you're not getting in. And okay, well, I'll drive my car and meet him there. And they say they're not letting you in the hospital. So even during that time, luckily he had a phone. So I was communicating with his doctors and nurses because he had FaceTime on his phone. So it wasn't even, I couldn't be there, but I could ask the questions of the doctors just via FaceTime. Me come visit at all. At all.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. So when you think about like when you're thinking about grief and loss, just having somebody be away from you for the first time for those amount of days and you can't see them and it's nothing you can do. Nothing you can do. So you feel a sense of loss because you want to help and you wanted to be there to support, but you couldn't.
I just, it feels, having talked with you so many times about so many different things and having developed a rapport with you, it just feels so different, when I compare my own experience, because he was my cousin and my loved one, but you're talking about your significant other.
And you're ready. Like, all right, we gotta go to the hospital. Let's go.
Right.
They let me know, like, you're not getting in this ambulance.
Not even in the ambulance.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope, not a visit, not anything. It was different now, but at that time, that was something new. because you know something happened to a loved one, you're just there with them to support. And you think about so many people that were in the hospital during that time that
Mm-hmm.
had nobody,
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
and they're all alone. And think about the loved ones that's at home that you know there's not much that they can do.
You know what I did think about that? Because I was thinking about how alone and lonely those who do have people felt.
Mm-hmm.
So it just and that's compounded when you don't
Mm-hmm.
have someone, because here you are, you feel helpless, even more
Exactly.
helpless.
Exactly.
And yeah, I but I'm looking. So family, let me bring you back because I'm all over the place, and y'all know I am. So you know I am. But family, if you've just joined us, let me make you aware. You are tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick, yours truly, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. Tonight we are talking about loss. And we're talking about, well, we're actually, we're talking about a few things as it pertains to loss. We're talking about navigating it ourselves, but we're also talking about comforting a significant other when they're grieving the loss of a loved one. So we started the conversation, and I've been sharing, and y'all know I do. Y'all know I share. But my family we really went through something. We went through it together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say praise God for that because it was the closest I believe my family had been in years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but we had weekly updates on Zoom. We would talk with one another just to get an update on how he was and how what was going on. Because one of my cousins, his daughter, um, well, like I said, nobody could go to the hospital because it was during COVID, but she was giving us updates, and it felt, we all felt so detached because we were so used to going to his house. We were so used to he was larger than life.
Mm-hmm.
And he would fly. He was that that person in my life, in my family. He would fly. I would look and he'd be in the front row at my shows. In Chicago, he popped up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just wherever, and so he was just that spirit, just
Mm-hmm.
that person. But it wasn't just for me. He was like that with everybody, with all of
Right.
my cousins. So it was difficult. We were having a hard time navigating it individually, let alone trying to comfort one another. It was hard. It was really hard. It was
It's
really hard.
difficult when you lose someone, especially like when it's unexpected. So it's like you're trying to even process, like, what is it like? Man, I'm no longer having those conversations with those people. Um, how do you feel about it? How does it impact your family? Just like you said, it wasn't just me; it was
Mhm.
cousins too. It was, and I'm sure he had siblings and children. So it impact when you think about loss. It impacts the entire family, and it's
It
like,
did.
how do you get through it?
I recall when we were told that you know that it was toward the end.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to my uncle, I called my uncle, and he said, I'm going to ride with you. I'm going to ride with you because I said I have to see him. I have to see him.
Mm-hmm.
But I was outside looking because he was brought home, but he was and he was in a hospital bed in the house. But I was outside, right outside. But I will never forget that. I will never ever forget that because it was so painful not being able to go give him a hug and kiss him, and if that and I know so many of us, because that doesn't go away. It didn't go away. When I think of that pain comes right back.
Mm-hmm.
It comes right back to me because I feel like it's just, I just feel like something, it was taken. I mean, not only was he taken away from me, but the ability to just even be able to say goodbye, I felt was taken away from me.
Mm-hmm.
That Yeah, I mean, we were at the door outside.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was gone 3 days later, 2 days later.
Wow.
Oh, family, look at me. Okay, it is time for us to take just a short break. How about that? But know that the phone lines are open and feel free to comment on our socials. When we come back, we're going to go to the phones, as a matter of fact. So stay with us because we'll be right back.
Do you need reliable internet for school, work, or other necessities? The federal government's Affordable Connectivity Program, ACP, provides up to $30 off internet bills. Families getting no-cost internet service through PHL Connected must take action to transfer their service to ACP as soon as possible to avoid getting bills. Philadelphia residents can visit getacp.org/PHL or dial 211 for more information and help signing up.
Need a minute? Take a breath and breathe in positivity. Here are words of joy and empowerment from WURD Radio.
To Black Women by Gwendolyn Brooks. Sisters, where there is cold silence, no hallelujahs, no hurrahs at all, no handshakes, no neon red or blue, no smiling faces, prevail. Prevail across the editors of the world who are obsessed, self-honeying, and self-crowned in the seduced arena. It has been a hard trudge with fainting, bandaging, and death. There have been startling confrontations. There have been tramplings of monarchs and of other men. But there remain large countries in your eyes, shrewd sun, the civil balance, the listening secrets, and you create and train your flowers still. I'm Delilah Wilson Scott.
This joy and empowerment vignette was brought to you by Comcast.
Flooded vehicles from recent hurricanes will be flooding the used car market, so buyer beware. If you're in the market for a used vehicle, be on the lookout for flood damage and make sure you have a qualified mechanic inspect it before you buy. The free VIN check service from the National Insurance Crime Bureau is a good place to start. Head over to nicb.org to check it out.
To report fraud, call us at 1-800-TEL-NICB. This is a public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
This is your celebration.
Happy anniversary. It's a celebration, WURD listeners. My name is Cedra Walton, account executive at WURD Radio, and I have nothing but good things to say. There's never been a dull moment since I started in WURD 3 years ago. WURD is an extension of my blood family, my blood relatives. I've learned so much in regards to community, social justice, economic empowerment, environmental justice, mental health, and so much more. I have nothing but good things to say about WURD. Salute to the Lomax family and having the vision to create a format such as this. And I look forward to many more years with my wonderful colleagues and friends and family at WURD. Happy anniversary, happy birthday, and may God bless us with many, many more.
We're celebrating 20 years of progressive Black Talk Media. You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Hey there, family. Welcome back. Welcome back to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD. Before the break, I was sharing with you all that we're going to go to the phone lines when we come back. So we are going to do just that. Hello there, caller on line one. Thank you for calling.
Good evening to you, Carol. Good evening to you, Farida. How are you both?
Hi, Miss Audrey. Doing well, thank you.
I would be much better if we didn't have this conversation that we're having, because as we all know, we've gone through this type of grief process wherein we either wanted to get to our loved one, and if we were younger, we weren't able to get into the room to see them, or we're standing by waiting on the next word on whether or not they were recovering, or in many cases, what were they doing for their pain if it were that they were in a suffering. from terminal illnesses and such. What I think we need is some type of reconciliation. And when I say that, I am not referring to compensatory, because compensatory does not alleviate us of that pain. I'm talking about we need a day of reconciliation to know exactly what are patients signing into, what are doctors signing into, and what are other staff members signing into. And I say that because just recently, as you all may have heard, there was more than 200 people who came in from Florida to our state here in Pennsylvania. And they were walking around as though they were licensed practical nurses, and they're not. And I'm grateful, I'm thankful that there were monitors who were able to see through that, yet that still does not, I want to say, ease the worry about either going in as a patient or walking away from situations where we know people.
Agreed. Oh, you know, I'm not even, Miss Audrey. First of all, thank you for calling and thank you for sharing that with us. But I'm not even sure how to respond to that. I want to be honest with you,
And
because
that's
we.
the difficulty we all have, Carol. We all struggle with that. I'll go so far as to say that myself, speaking for myself, at a young age, I went back and forth with my grandmother to the chemotherapy. And I'm talking about the early 70s. In contrast to current time, there is no one walking, breathing on this planet called Earth that can convince me that chemotherapy, radiation is the cure for cancer. No one. I can scream that from the top of the highest mountain to the lowest valley. And I've seen the pain. I've seen the suffering this many years later. I've seen the mandates where in close to my heart, my husband, it was mandated that he could not leave that hospital until he had 7 chemotherapy treatments. His doctor, an oncologist, these specialists, did in fact state when we went to the outpatient that she did hear us when we said we need to have the blood cell count. It shouldn't be that much. And she stated on record that she in fact did not get heard. So there's a lot of conflicts in these hospital procedures and the manner in which they're doing it. And it because they have these, as they say, with the predatory lending, we had no idea that the fine print meant that we were obligated, even if we ran into situations that were a hardship unavoidable or what have you. The same is happening with all medical personnel. They sign these agreements and they cannot back out of it whether they agree to it or not. And that's sad for all of us, because what that means is that in so many ways, as bad as it sounds for me to say it, we're signing our own death certificate.
But you're right about it. But you're right. You're absolutely right about it. You are right about it. And I am in agreement with you about the treatment of cancer. There is no way. There is no way.
The testimony of Mandrell, right? I am with him 1,001%. As he laid there and he listened to them and he prayed. His prayers, in intuitive sense, told him, "Oh no, this isn't right." His family members agreed, "Oh no, and we should not have to be lying in bed in conflict with what we're being told, what we believe, either because we researched it or we have a litany of other people's experience that tells us otherwise." I mean,
I'm in agreement.
The people who say that, we're in conflict with certain energies in the ground, the global warming, the whole nine to go with it. I state that because they have found that some of these dyes, the dyes they use to review X-rays and so forth.
Oh, sure. Yes.
That we need a moratorium, an actual moratorium that in fact is necessary until we get to the bottom of what is Congress looking for, or whomever else in these success stories and testimonies of people who say, yeah, I went through it, but I suffered. Or people who say, no, I didn't go through it that way, yet I'm bothered by the test reports because it seems to be more testing me. Now I'm a guinea because you see something that maybe you didn't understand yourself, but clearly we're way past the healer cell, clearly.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. I think we are all in agreement that the medical field. I was just having a conversation about this earlier today, as a matter of fact, that it's all about money. The pharmaceutical industry is huge. We are not. We're not
We were
affected.
just having this conversation yesterday, especially about the pharmaceutical company. I didn't realize that the United States is the only country that has ads for medicine.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't
Yes.
realize that. And I'm like,
Yes.
well, it's not like you can just go and pick up these medications that's on the commercials. So what's the purpose of them? Your doctor should be the ones telling you what you need anyway.
And then again, when you couple that with the fact that healthcare is free in other countries as well, when you couple it with that, I mean,
we were just when you guys were talking about cancer, unfortunately, so two things came to mind. One, when my grandmother was about 80, I guess she was about 81 years old, she was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. My grandmother was the most healthiest person I knew. She was like in shape. So just to even see her go through that was devastating for me. But I was her support person. I was the one who was somehow available to go with her to the doctor's appointment. And I remember them telling her that she needed to take this medication for 5 years. And she said, I don't want to do it. And it like she slowly declined after that. And unfortunately, she passed away. But I just remember like how devastating it was when we talk about grief and loss for our family. So fast forward the year, I guess it was the year before last. I'm the oldest girl in my family. I have a younger sister. She was diagnosed with breast cancer. I'm going, we go with her. I go with her to be her support person. I'm crying. I'm the one supposed to be listening, but I have always been there for her in any stages of her life. So this time, when you talk about breast cancer, it's nothing that I can do but just show up because I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. I don't even know where this comes from, but it also takes me back. It's a place called City of Hope in California. And they had honored my husband, but they wanted him to come see this campus that they had. And so I went with him to see the campus in California. And when you talk about it's called, so there, the City of Hope is to do research on campus, on cancer. It was really a city of like, and it was doctors and all of these people. And I'm thinking, they're putting all of this money into cancer research, and we still don't know what even causes cancer. So when she says that, it's just like, it's still mind-boggling to try to understand. And then it's like, well, why are Black people so
susceptible
at a higher rate than others? It's like, when you think about everything, is Black people have higher rates of diabetes, or Black people have this, and then you try to understand and try to make sense of it all.
Honestly, I have a theory. I definitely have a theory on it because, when we talk about Henrietta Lacks, when we go from the beginning and we talk about the contributions that what was taken from her were made to medicine, I believe that the plan was already in play, as it has been, to eliminate us. Now, my family, this is just my own personal opinion. But I believe that is a part of it. That's a part of it. It's a part of the plan to either handicap or eliminate Black people. That's what I believe in my spirit. Because there's no way you can tell me there's so many illnesses that have come about that we keep being told, well, it's just more common in the Black person. It's just more common in the Black. Well, if it is, why haven't you figured out how to navigate it or eradicate it? Why
When you think
haven't you?
about COVID.
When you started in the
Mm-hmm.
medical profession with ourselves, when you're finding all cures and things for everything else, what I
Mm-hmm.
don't understand. I don't understand. Make me understand, please. So I just believe there is, well, I am a conspiracy theorist, and I do believe there is a plan at play. But in any event, Miss Audrey, I'm so sorry, because y'all know, Miss Audrey, thank you for calling. Before I go back to the phone, I just want to take a moment to recognize some of our family members who are checking in. Miss Julie, hi there, Miss Julie. She is checking in, listening now to Farida. I also want to share. Malcolm shares that he lost one of his uncles to COVID last year, and they wouldn't let them see him. He shares that he only got to see him after he passed away. They could only look at his body through a window in his room. That was same. Oh, he was 88.
Mm-hmm.
Jay is checking in. Hey there, Jay. I love you more, Jay. You better know it. Henry, how are you, Henry? Henry Purifoy is checking in as well. And he shares that, yeah, the pharmaceutical industry is all about money. Yes. Steve. Hi there, Steve. How are you? Thank you for joining us. Hey, Tim. So happy to have you here as well. And Tim shares that we have always been the experiments. Yeah, I believe that as well. And he shares they always want to know how we work. Well, I believe that too. I
Mm-hmm.
definitely believe that. So I'm looking at the time. We have about 3 minutes. I'm going to take a call really quickly. I'm going to go to line 2. Hello there. Thank you for calling.
Thank you for allowing me to share with you this evening.
Hi, Tyrone. How are you?
I am wonderful, and peace and blessings and much love and much respect. I don't know if I'll be changing the subject, but when we talk about love, loss, and love, because whenever I get an opportunity to share with you, I want to come from one direction, and that direction is love. And just hearing the conversation about some of the epidemics and some of the health issues, I wanted to deal with some of the emotional issues that goes with loss. So I don't know if this is the right time and the right opportunity to do it, but that was the direction I wanted to speak in.
Please share.
Okay, thank you. Well, two things. I want to come from the aspect, as you were speaking, when we lose someone, the pain and the emotions that comes from that, especially when you talk about a person who have many cherishable moments with you, and how losing that person, you're going to lose a lot of something that makes you feel good. And it may be one of those situations when that feel good moment won't be there again because of the specialty and the relationship you had with that loved one. Now, on the other end, when you look at loss and get caught up with families that it tears the family apart, and that seems to be, quite prevalent in terms of what's happening in our communities right now. And right now, I'm going through a situation
Wait, Tyrone, I'm so sorry because I want you to continue. But we have to go to commercial. Can you hold? Will you stay
I
with
most
us?
certainly can, yes.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you. Family, listen, it's time for us to take another break, but do know that our phone lines are still open and feel free to comment on our socials. When we come back, Tyrone is going to finish the conversation. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Junior once said, intelligence plus character. That is the goal of true education. Word Radio is doing our part to help young people have the school supplies they need to be successful students. Please join Global Citizen, Word Radio, and Rhodes Elementary School by dropping off school supply donations at Word's offices, located at 1341 North Delaware Avenue, Suite 300, now through September 5th, so students can have the supplies they need to get the year off to a great start. For more information, go to globalcitizen365.org/school supplies. Word Radio is the only African American owned and operated talk radio station in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and one of only 3 remaining in the country. In the past 20 years, Word has evolved into a multimedia, multi-platform communications company that reaches deeply into the Black community through radio, events, digital, and social media. It is considered the go-to channel to engage, interact, and connect with Philadelphia's Black community. Our brand is built on the personal legacy of our founder, Walter P. Lomax Jr., MD. Dr. Lomax was a brilliant physician who established medical centers in underserved neighborhoods throughout Philadelphia to provide high-quality healthcare to Black and Brown communities for over 30 years. One of his most ambitious acquisitions was when he purchased WURD Radio. He understood the power of ownership and the power of independent media. Through Word, he wanted to ensure that Philadelphia's Black community had the ability to speak and be heard in their own voice. We are celebrating 20 years of Black excellence. We are celebrating 20 years of progressive Black talk media.
This vignette was brought to you by Comcast, United Way, and Bank of America.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute?
When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can, making sure they're safe and comfortable. But it's just as important that you take some time for yourself. At AARP, we can help with information and useful tips on how you can maintain a healthy life balance, care for your own physical and mental well-being, and manage the challenges of caring for a loved one. Because the better care you take of yourself, the better care you can provide for your loved one.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you. You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
I think I know what love is.
Hey there, family. Welcome back. Welcome back to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick. Just prior to the break, we were talking with Tyrone, and he was sharing with us. Tyrone, are you still there?
Yes, I am, my love.
Okay. I'm so sorry to have had to interrupt you, but please do continue.
No, look. You made it clear that was going to happen. So I'm just thankful that you have given me the opportunity to continue. Because I think, what I'm about to share has a lot to do with the violence and the mayhem and destruction and the killings that are going on in our community. When I was growing up, and I hate this, when we go back to when I was, when we had different fathers in the family, and I did come from a large family, and there was different fathers, but I never seen any incidents where, one father has some grief or some misunderstanding or violent misunderstanding with another. And I know of many families where there was, different fathers in the household. But now, when we're looking at the situation with what's going on, that there seems to be so much, conflict in terms of different fathers and the family. And this situation, it has led to where one family, one father want to come to the house in a violent way and coming with a weapon, and he lost the battle. He came, and he lost the battle. Now, the police and everything, all of it is self-defense. But now what the issue is the family of the one that came with the intention to do harm, to want to shoot, now his family want to look at retaliating. And it's such a harmful situation when we find ourselves in this situation, because that retaliation continues to go from one level to the next. And my brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, if someone is, doing harm in the community, those folks who are shooting up the community would shoot in a playground, would shoot in, someone's house, or shoot in a car with their grandparents and children and babies. And when they get, and God, be the glory, that if they get gunned down, then you have members who want to support them and want to continue the violence that person is, have been perpetrating. So, my sis, I'm sorry that I'm bringing this to the table and this love fest that we have.
No. Well, Tyrone, we talk about everything here. We definitely talk about everything here. But what I want to do is I always want to make sure I give enough attention to the subject at hand. And then I also want you to be heard, and I want you to feel heard. But at this time, I have to move to our next caller. But I do respect what you shared, and I receive it. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure how to respond to that, because I feel like I need more information, but and I would love to have more information. But again, I have to allow, I have to accommodate some more of our family members as well. So I'm hoping that we can continue this conversation, because it definitely sounds like a scenario that we should discuss. We're talking about that because that's a lot. That's a lot to unpack, what you just shared with us. Would you agree, Farida?
I would.
Okay.
And
Okay.
A lot of times you can't get the response that you want because you don't have
Thank you so much, Tyrone. I just want to go to our next caller. I believe we have another family member waiting to talk with us. Are you still there by any chance?
Yes, I'm here. I'm in Shavita Hakel. Hope all is well.
Hi, Ron.
That I think about him quite often. And I think about how poem I want to say to him if I ever meet him. We know that like, common core denominator is death. And death is no more than a punctuation mark, comma, begins again as we climb Jacob's ladder to the next life. I want to talk about healing power. The Almighty God has blessed Ron. A lot of people know I'm not just saying something to be saying something. I took Sydney Bass on tour at one of the nursing homes. I had to go up there quite frequently. Even College Mother. A lot of people with names were there. Dave Richardson, people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And this one story, the woman was in the room, and with her illness that she was there, and she would cry, but she would not cry with any sounds. So I walked in the room, and I do believe, and I'm going to be very careful. Now, Almighty God, you know what I mean by this. I do have healing power. So I walked in the room, and I seen Beloved, and she was sitting there, and she was crying, and she was doing all this stuff, going through her metamorphosis. And I said, Mother, can you sing? I said, I'm the world's greatest singer. And I made a little funny country sound.
Mm-hmm.
And kept crying. I said, Mother, would you sing me a song? This woman, this elder, older than me, guess what song she did? I need you, Lord, every minute, every hour. And the scenario of this particular story, it was karma. What she was singing to me came back and touched her. And every time I would go up there, she would look for me to walk past. I would engage all the patients up there. And this is very important with the healing power. When someone gets sick that I know, if they go to a metamorphosis, I say, where are they at? Let me see them. Let me speak with them. And I do believe, because in my life it has made a difference. I'm not talking out of some of over religious. God has blessed me. He has blessed me from out of hurt and sickness that I came out of to be able to heal other people. East Stephen College Mother, she was in one of the places there, and I went in there. She was suffering with her, of course, it was late and stuff. But my whole purpose is, and I know with this virus that they wouldn't let people come in and to see their family members. And this is why it's so important. It's so important. We must ask God to be the healer in these diseases that is coming upon us. I mentioned on Michael Cord today, and the President of the United States will be making comments about this coronavirus coming up with this second, with the shot to get your flu shot. It's another one coming behind us. I asked Michael, will somebody on the station talk about that? And you're absolutely right. I believe this. Maybe because God has blessed me to have a little healing power. What do you mean by that, Brian? What do you mean by that? I remember as my childhood, when I was 6 years old, the lady raised me. My address was 1924. She used to make me go upstairs, just like the elders, the 24 and the elders. And I'll never forget the prayer that I used to say as a child. And this would have helped me in my life. And Almighty God, I thank you for sending nice people to be an inspiration and to me and to heal my sad soul. And then you gave me good genes, Lord. I'm obligated for those who I can visit to make a difference. Thank you, Almighty God. My cup do runneth over. So tell Mr. Will and all y'all that sing music that you count all the people to show there to put at a time like this, to put that back out into the air. And Miss, the other ladies that's on there with you, ma'am, the work you're doing, what your eyes have seen, and Cal, what you have seen with your family, that there can do what no meds or no antibiotics could ever do. It's that divine order that you can, people will pick it up. You look at you with the children, we pick it up. It was divine connection. So we can have all the things in the world, just to know that you have given inspiration to so many people in this sin-sick world. You're right, Cal. This too will pass. But it's what we do in this time slot. Oh, yes, you are a lover. Ma'am, all y'all are lovers. Take and go into your love zone. I'm not talking about any relationship. Say, love thyself. You're commanded to do that. Love, you love thyself. And that's the gift of life. I have no complaints. Because y'all lift my spirit up. And I thank you for treating me kind. Thank you very much. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, family. Thank you. Thank you to you both. Thank you to all of our callers. I'm looking at the time and we're coming upon the top of the next hour. So it's time for us to take just a short commercial break. Farida, it seems like this conversation here needs to come back because, there are a lot of us still processing grief. There are a lot of us still trying to navigate the loss of a loved one. So if you don't mind, I would love for this topic to come back in another evening. I would love that. Family, again, just stay with us because we're going to take just a short break. But when we come back, we're going to have the next guest in our next hour. So we're going to say goodbye to Farida tonight. But God willing, we will see her next week. Thank you so much, Farida. And family, stay with us. We'll be right back.
The Museum of the American Revolution invites you and your family to experience Black founders, the Fortson family of Philadelphia, now on display. Explore the story of free Black Philadelphian James Fortson and his descendants as they navigate the Revolutionary War, build a business in Philadelphia, and contribute to the abolition and voting rights movements. The unique journey and exceptional story of the Fortson family explores the legacy of the American Revolution and the ongoing work to realize the principle of liberty and equality for all. Information and tickets at amrevmuseum.org.
This Labor Day, we celebrate the people putting in the work to uplift our community. Tune in to WURD Radio on Monday, September 4th from 7 a.m. until 10 p.m. and hear the Community Impact Award recipients share their life's journey and groove to the playlist that represents the soundtrack to their lives. Feel inspired by the life lessons of Mika Johnson, CEO of All Black Everything Pop-Up, Dr. Delana Wardlaw, and Dr. Elena McDonald of the Twin Sister Docs, Jasmine A. Smith, founder of Icon Sports League, and our very own Troy Wilmore, technical production manager, radio show producer, and remote broadcast engineer. Also, tune in for the encore broadcast of the 2021 Community Impact Award winners, Theater in the X. That's the Putting in the Work Labor Day special, Monday, September 4th from 7 a.m. until 10 p.m. only on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
They are our cuddlers and coworkers, purr machines and love bugs, and constant companions. They are our pets, our family, and they make life so much better. When we face unexpected challenges in life, so do our pets. That's why we're on a mission to support people who love their pets and the pets who love their people, ensuring these families stay exactly where they belong, together. And you have something to offer. With an open heart and mind, there is nothing you can't do. There's no gesture too small or too big when it comes to helping. Whether donating a bag of kibble, sharing an Instagram post of a lost cat, or welcoming a foster pet into your home, every bit of kindness counts. You can help keep pets and people together. Visit petsandpeopletogether.org to learn how to be a helper in your community. This has been a public service announcement brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
There are 1,000 ways to say it.
Nope. Knock it off. Shut it down. Dream on. No dice. Give it a rest. Not a chance.
Or just.
All text. You focus on the road.
As a passenger, you have the power to prevent an accident. There are 1,000 ways to stop a distracted driver. Choose one.
A message from CTIA.
We're bringing joy and power to the people. This is WURD Radio, 900 AM and 96.1 FM, WURD, Philadelphia. Celebrating 20 years of progressive Black talk media. Streaming online at wordradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Let me tell you something, and don't you ever forget it. That success is nothing without someone you love to share it with.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hello there, family. Welcome back. Welcome to the top of the second hour of love and life right here on WURD. Progressive Black Talk Media on air and online at wordradio.com. I do want to say hello to some more of our family members who joined us. Miss Joanne, hi there. Joanne Dorman has joined us and she's sending love to everybody. So is Mizzy. Hi there, Mizzy. Uh, just so happy to have all of you join us tonight. So, if you did miss the first hour of the show, we were talking about loss and we were talking about navigating loss. We were also, we actually had not gotten to the conversation of comforting a loved one who was navigating the loss of a loved one or comforting a significant other. So, we're going to bring that conversation back when Farida comes to see us again. We have so much to talk about. I promise you, I feel like the hours fly by. I don't know if you feel that way too, but it makes me feel that way. Before we move further, I do want to say that Craig has joined us as well. Hi there, Craig Williams. Good evening to you as well. He's sharing some love. So we were talking about loss. In this next hour, we're going to talk about love. Our next guest, she is no stranger to the show. She visited with us once before. We had a great time. But for as long as she can remember, she's been in love with love. So much that it brought her to a career as a professional matchmaker, helping people find their own way to happiness. And so, family, I invite you to the conversation with TRENIA Norford. Hi there, beautiful. How are you?
How are you?
I will not complain. Welcome back. How about that? Welcome back.
Thank you
Love
for
it back.
having me back.
Absolutely. Yeah, we did. We had such a great conversation the last time you were with us. So I wanted to bring it back to, especially because some of our family members, weren't present for that conversation. So we talk about everything here, and why not? Why not talk about love?
Yes.
I mean, it is in the title of the show. How about that?
Love and life.
Right. So, and I'm curious to know if you get asked this one particular question often, like if there's a benefit to someone using a matchmaker, a personal matchmaker. Is it a personal matchmaker or a matchmaker? Does it make a difference?
I would just say matchmaker, personal, professional matchmaker, whatever. Matchmaker.
Okay.
But is there a benefit in working with a matchmaker? I do get that question, and the short answer is absolutely. Why? Because working with someone who is an expert in the field that you're looking to explore is important, right? You hire someone that knows the industry, that knows, and also someone that's a coach, right? So it's not just being a matchmaker, but also being a coach. But working with someone that understands relationships, dating, that the whole process around that's important, and typically it appeals to busy individuals, like busy professionals, entrepreneurs or people that just don't, they didn't find success online.
Sure.
So they want to explore different avenues to help them find their person or the love of their life. So yeah, I mean, working with a matchmaker helps with vetting individuals, right? That you wouldn't necessarily be able to vet if you find them online or even organically. Everyone wants to be a matchmaker, your auntie, your cousin. But, I mean, are they fully vetting that individual like a matchmaker, a professional matchmaker would? No, probably not. Also, what else? I mentioned coaching, right? So again,
right.
person throughout the process, and that's super important because if you're at a stage in life where you're divorced, you've been married for 20 something years and you're just new on the dating scene, that can be scary. So having that cheerleader or someone that's telling you can do it, you got this, helping you with that confidence, even helping you pick out the right outfit, the right lip color, whatever it is, but just making sure you have someone in your corner to help you succeed during the dating process is very important.
Yeah. So would you say someone who's had years of dating experience or someone who's just like kind of just getting back out there would benefit more, or could anyone? Would it be would your services be beneficial to, anyone who's interested?
Yeah, that's a great question, Carol. I would say that someone who is interested in, or someone who's really focused, really committed to finding their person, that is, the person that matchmaking would attract. That's the ideal person. It's an investment. So you don't want, someone who's kind of like lackluster about seriously finding a person. You want to be focused, relationship minded, committed to finding long-term companionship. Maybe marriage. Some people don't want to get married a second time or a third time, but we all want, we're human. We're, social creatures. So we want to find companionship. So yeah, as long as you're interested in finding companionship long-term, matchmaking would be for you.
I have a few more questions, but before we move further, I want to take a call from our phone lines. I believe one of our family members has been waiting, and I was unaware. I'm so sorry. Hello, family. Are you still there by any chance? I may have missed our family member. I believe I did. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. I missed you. So going back to the conversation at hand. So I'm curious to know, like, say that, okay, I want to make use of your services, right? When you say coaching, do you provide like therapy as well during the process, or just helping me along the process?
Yeah, so it would be coaching as far as kind of like guiding you, helping you, there to answer questions. So part of the process, Carol, is to get feedback from your dates, right? So I will coordinate a date. You guys will go out, and sometimes there's situations where one person really wants to see that person again, and the other person not so much. So I ask for feedback, and I think that that's the most critical part of the process, because there are so many people, that term ghosting now, there's so many people that'll go out, and one person will feel like, oh my God, best date ever, but then they never hear from that person again, right? So during this part of the process, you'll find out why that person is not really as interested in you as you are in them. So when I receive that feedback, perhaps a coaching session will ensue, right? Because, maybe that person talked about their ex too much. Maybe that person wasn't an active listener. They talked about, or they asked questions and didn't wait for the answer, and then perhaps asked it again later on in the date. Whatever it is, it can be something as, trivial as eating with your mouth open. That's a pet peeve for some people. So maybe, and people don't tell you these things, so it can be something as small as that to as big as, again, bringing your emotional baggage on a first date. So that's where the coaching comes in.
So do you work with specific age groups, or?
I do. So, so my avatar, if you will, is between 35 and 55. So that's typically my age group, 35 to 55. That being said, I have a client right now who's in her 70s, and she's amazing. Right. So, I will go up if I can. And I'll go a little lower, but my sweet spot, 35 to 55.
Nice. Well, so I have all of these questions, as you see. This is so interesting to me, especially 2023. We have matchmaking services, and I know, there are a lot of people looking for love. A lot of people are searching, and there's so many avenues that just haven't been fruitful. And I'm speaking specifically of online dating. I hear so many people talk about horror stories they've had. So this kind of I'm sure eliminates that. It's but I'm curious to know. So when you put two people together, when you connect these two individuals, do you choose where they go on their first date, or is that as a result of their conversations, or how does that work?
So everyone has their own process. I
Okay.
typically work with the gentleman to find a place for them to meet. My dates, important to note, my dates are not typically dinner dates. Like I prefer first dates. It can be something super casual, coffee, maybe a cocktail, lunch, brunch. I try to stay away from dinner dates simply because it's their first time. I just want to see if there's connection, if there's chemistry. And if that's, and you don't want to, make the first date so long where and there's no connection because they're like wasting their time, like, okay, when is this gonna be over? So I try to make it like with just an hour. And it's up to them. I mean, if there is a connection, they can either prolong the date and, turn coffee into lunch, or they can just plan their second date. But I typically work with the gentleman to get the first date.
Okay. So do you work with specific ethnic backgrounds or
I work with different ethnicities.
Okay.
Yeah, I work
Yeah,
with
thank you. Ethnicities. That was the better way to say that. Thank you. I had so many things going through my head at the same time. It's like, so yes. So you said yes, you do.
I do. It's pretty. I mean, because there's some ethnicities that want to date outside their ethnicity.
Right.
So yeah, no, my database is very multicultural.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Very diverse. Okay. So now here we are. We're in 2023 and there's a lot going on right now as it pertains to dating and just human beings and sexuality and fluidity. So do you also work with individuals of the LGBTQIA plus community?
LGBTQ. So I am actually right now. My database is primarily heterosexual. That's my database. But that being said, I have someone who's interested in joining my team. This is like hot off the press. I have someone that's interested in joining my team, who's a part of that community and would like to help with growing.
Expanding.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about that. So we'll see. So hopefully the next time I'm on your show, if there's a next time, hopefully there is, I'll have more information about that.
Wow. Yeah, I know that this is a different world right now that we're in. So Chloe's saying hello to everyone. Those of you who hear my fur baby in the background, she's normally asleep.
Her baby is right next to me, just 15. So he's just like snoring. So
well, normally she's asleep when I'm on the air, but for whatever reason, something has ruffled her feathers. So she is making her presence known. Hi, Sugar Lump. So Chloe's saying hello, everybody. It's been a while since Chloe said hello. Family, for those of you who are just joining us, you are tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. We are talking with TRENIA JOHNSON of Connectricity. She is a matchmaker. I'm so fascinated by your profession because I just, like I said, there's just so much going on in 2023. And I know everybody wants love. Everybody wants to be loved. So I'm fascinated with the whole process, quite honestly. So family, if you have comments or questions, you already know what I'm about to say. Feel free to share them on our socials, or you can also call us. And you can do that by dialing 215-634-8065, or you can also call us toll free at 1-866-361-0900. And I do want to say to our family member that called earlier that I missed, you are welcome to call back. You know you are. Please do, because we love the love here. But in any event, we're talking about matchmaking. Going back to this conversation about matchmaking. And it seems like because, like I was saying, we're the lens right now has been widened so much as it pertains to dating. And it seems like it might really be beneficial to us all to have a matchmaker. I don't know. Well, maybe to me because I don't get out much, but but it seems like it might be beneficial. I'm curious to know what you think, family. I'm curious to know. Miss Julie is joining the conversation, and she shares social dating monitored. Seems like a good idea, Trenia. While growing up and in adult years, some of the discussions have been that location settings are key. Do you also provide suggestive dating locations?
That's a great question to the person who wrote in. Um, so I like typically I would like for the gentleman to make the suggestion as far as location, date. I do. And why? Because it gives me an idea as to who he is, if he's, fun, or traditional when it comes to dating. Just I'd like to again get into that person's head.
Mm-hmm.
And if maybe he's, at a standstill, he does not sure. But so I will help with recommendations because I know the person that I'm working for, right? That my client. So I will help, but I really try to leave it up to the guy to make the suggestions as to where they're gonna go.
Okay.
But I will recommend places as well. So it's a team effort.
So is there like a set amount of time that you work with the individual first, during the coaching process before you start trying to pair him, since you primarily work with the men, right?
So I work with men and women. I have men and women as clients.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
typically how it works. So I have a couple of different programs running on I just have a couple of different programs, right? So there are some individuals that would like to just hire me as a matchmaker.
Okay.
So while I am a certified coach, if someone is just hiring me as a matchmaker throughout the program, and it's usually 6 months throughout the time that we're working together,
Mm-hmm.
I will also provide coaching, and it's kind of coaching as needed. Then there's another program where we will start off with coaching, right? So it'll be 5 weeks of coaching, which I prefer because I get a chance to really know the person that much better. And so
Okay.
the matches that I would curate would just be so much better because I've gotten a chance to know that person over the 5 weeks. So there's, those two different ways that we can work together. Start off as a coach and then leading to matchmaking, or some people are just like, no, I don't need coaching. I just want a matchmaker. So we'll work as a matchmaker client relationship.
Sure. Huh. I do want to share that some of our family members are joining us. Terry, hi there, Terry. She shares that she and her sis are listening. Well, welcome always to the conversation. Tia Antoinette shares, that's a great question. That was a great question, Miss Julie. So I wanted to share that they are joining the conversation as well. So are there qualities that you look for in clients as well?
Yeah, like an ideal client, like yeah, for sure. So I always am under the impression that, during a consultation, you're interviewing me and I'm interviewing you to make sure that this is a good fit, right? So one of the things that I look for is to make sure the person's coachable. Throughout the process, it's really important that I work with someone who is okay with feedback, because you will receive feedback throughout the process. You're meeting different, gentlemen, and I keep referencing gentlemen. It can go either way. But
Sure.
you're meeting different people, and some people, as I mentioned earlier, you're not going to get the feedback that you would typically get from a person that you would meet organically or online. If someone's not interested in you, what they do now is they ghost. But now you're working with me, someone like myself, I'm going to tell you why it didn't work. If the person was interested, and why wasn't he interested? When I tell you this, I need you to understand it, and accept it, because this is feedback that I'm receiving. So you accept it. And then if there's something where we can coach towards it, then fine. I mean, if it's something where I just didn't feel a connection, then there's nothing to coach, right? If the person didn't feel a connection, the person didn't feel a connection. But if it's something that you specifically did, and it's something that could potentially hinder other practice, right? Possibilities, then let's talk about it. Let's kind of work it. Let's fix it so that we can be better moving forward. So that's one of the top things, Carol, that I look for is someone who's coachable. Another thing would be someone who's open to the process. You know, there's a ton of times where people will come, men and women, they'll come with their checklist. Must-haves. And typically the checklist is all about physical, right? Physical attributes, height, color, complexion, height.
Right. People, right. That's a big thing, huh? Oh, wow.
And it's all about physical, athletic, just everything physical. But sometimes, yes.
I mean, well, I want to take a pause for just a moment here because we do have to go to a commercial break, but I am stumped. I don't know why I'm stumped on that because I hear that. I've heard that so many times. Family, listen, we're going to take just a short break, but when we come back, the conversation will continue. So stay with us.
Our community has relied on AM radio to inform, entertain, and empower. From the gospel music you grew up with to the Black voices and perspectives you depend on for your news. And when dangerous situations arise, AM radio plays a unique role in keeping our listeners safe. We can't afford to have our voice silenced. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress we need AM radio in cars.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
The job search can be a difficult and frustrating process. WURD's Livelihood Initiative was designed to help you find the right opportunity for your next professional move. Check out the recent openings posted on the Livelihood Job Board at wordworks.com. The Wagner Institute of Science is hiring a science outreach educator. The Bicycle Coalition of Greater Philadelphia is hiring both a director of finance and operations and an executive director. For more information on these jobs and others, go to wordworks.com and learn more about the Livelihood Initiative. Brought to you by WURD Radio, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Get a lot of advice about self-care these days, but one of the most important self-care steps we can take is making sure we're financially secure later in life. For small steps you can take to save for retirement, visit WeSaySaveIt.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Emmettith and Nicholas. Congratulations on getting your diploma. You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
What are you waiting for? If you've been enjoying the information and interviews WURD provides every day or come out to our community events, it might be time to become a member. This year marks the 20th anniversary of WURD, and there's no better time to join the forward movement. Sign up or renew your sustaining membership at just $90 or your digital membership for just $5 a month. Join online at wordradio.com/membership or pick up the phone and give us a call at 215-425-7875. Press 4 for assistance. The time to join is now.
What am I waiting for?
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hello there, family. Welcome back. You're tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick. We are talking with TRENIA Norford. She is a matchmaker. And we are talking all about matchmaking. And before the break, I was asking Trenia about her ideal client, and she was sharing some of the desires of some of her clients. And I imagine from the women, this was specifically height, height, height. That was one of the things for which they were asking, which is but okay, all right, that's what they want. That's what they want. So some of our family members have shared, they've joined the conversation, and I want to share with you what they're saying. So Craig Williams shares, wow. As an old head who's been with the woman of my dreams for 46 years and married for 42, I can't imagine what it would be like to date nowadays. Craig, you don't want to imagine what it's like dating nowadays. Trust me on that. And Miss Julie asks if you could please provide dating link information.
Sure. Oh, yeah. Sum up. For sure. It's connectricitymatch.com. CONNECTRICITY match match.com.
I love it. I love it. And Malcolm shares with us that the woman with whom he was in his last relationship passed away suddenly in '05, and that he has not dated anyone since. And now at 60, he knows it's rough out there. It is. It is. So I'm so sorry for your loss, Malcolm. I am so sorry for your loss. I can't imagine, and especially that you shared that it was suddenly. I can't imagine. So terribly sorry for your loss. But Trenia, I'm curious to know when you were talking about the women and well, I said that they're requesting height. I said that. She did not say that, but I'm imagining it's probably the women saying, I would love for him to be a certain height. Does the same go for when you're talking about picking the location for the date? Does the same go like when you have a female as a client? Or do you encourage her to encourage the male to pick where they will go?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm a traditionalist when it comes to that, because regardless if it's a male client or a female client, I would like to have the man the date. Yeah.
Okay. I was curious to know because sometimes we have a lot of well, it depends on who the aggressor would be in the pairing. So I was curious to know.
I mean, and sometimes, that's typical standard protocol, but sometimes it is a team effort, right? I mean, there's times where, I had a individual she lived in DC and she lived in New York. He lived in DC, and it was hard for him it was, challenging for him to pick something. So
sure.
That's where we work together. Her and I, we work together to find a place for them to meet in New York. So, I mean, there's different, scenarios where it'll be either me picking the place or the woman, but typically protocol, I would have the guy choose the place.
Okay. Okay. So I know you were sharing, we were talking about, the desires of some people as it pertains to relationships. Some people want to be married, some do not. Does it make your process any easier or more difficult if the individual's end goal is marriage?
No, not at all. I mean, it's just, the people that I work with, 99.9% of them, they're very relationship focused. So, my job just becomes a little bit more detailed when someone says, I'm open to marriage, but not necessarily, it doesn't have to lead to marriage. And would I pair them with someone who is saying that they absolutely want marriage? I can possibly, because again, he said he's open to it. Sometimes if it's someone who's like, nope, I'm not marrying again, I just want companionship, then of course I want to introduce him to someone who wants marriage. So it's that those like little nuances is where I will just focus on when I'm doing my matching. But again, everyone that I work with, basically the one thing that they want is a committed relationship with someone. And that's important to me. I'm not going to work with someone who just wants to date around, because that's just not my clientele. I mean, there's other places that person can go, but my clientele is looking for real love, like, and real companionship, true companionship, long-term relationships.
That's understandable. My age is telling on me. I promise you, I was sitting still and my shoulder just started hurting. I don't know. Oh my goodness. So family, for those of you who are watching, if you're watching me work, whatever this is, this little, I don't know, whatever's going on or trying to happen in my shoulder, just know that it's, I promise you, I was sitting still and my shoulder just, it felt like, ow, it felt like I was lifting a weight or something. In any event, to come back to the conversation. So what would be a red flag to you for someone, who came to you to employ your services or to gain your services? What's a red flag? What are some red flags for you?
Someone who is not coachable. Like, so as a client, like, someone I would not hire, or I would not, well, I wouldn't hire someone that I wouldn't be interested in hiring me. It would be someone who, just it's not coachable. So, and I can figure that out very quickly if during the consultation, because I have a consultation with everyone before we enter into some type of agreement, where I ask very specific questions just relating to their criteria of the person that they're looking for. And, if it's someone who is, let's just use an example, someone who's very specific with age. And again, I understand that there's, a certain age level that you're comfortable with, but I want to have that conversation with you. So for instance, if I'm working with a 40-year-old and they only want to date someone between 35 and 45, my question would be, can we increase a 40-year-old? Can we increase that to 50? And also, but before I even ask that question, I'm asking other questions to figure out why that age range is between 35 and 55. There's a lot of people. One of the number one reasons is because of youthfulness. They want someone who's youthful. 40-year-old, the thought of them being with a 50-year-old, maybe it's a little nerve-wracking for them, because they're like, oh, that he's old, maybe he's a little pot belly, or just he's not as energetic. I want children. Maybe he doesn't want children, or he has older children. So it's a whole bunch of little concerns that person may have. So I'll ask certain questions first before asking if we can adjust the age. So again, it's this certain questions that I ask during the consultation to lead me to figure out if this is an ideal person for me. Yeah.
Family, did you hear that? Do you hear that, family? If you have just joined us, if you just tuned in, we're talking about matchmaking. TRENIA Norford is a matchmaker, and she's sharing with us about her profession. She's sharing with us about what's going on out here in the world right now as it pertains to the dating world. So I'm encouraging you, as I always do, to join the conversation, and you can do so by commenting on our socials, and you can also call us. But you knew that. But for those of you who did not, you can do that. You can call us by dialing 215-634-8065, or you can call us toll free at 1-866-361-0900. So how long ago did you form Connectricity?
It's been 11 years now.
Yeah. 11.
Yeah.
Wow. So how has dating changed? I know in 11 years, not even has dating, how has it changed for you as it pertains to Connectricity? How has it changed?
One of the main changes, I would say, it's just more since the pandemic. Since the pandemic, people are more open, and this is on the positive. I always try to focus on the positive, but on the positive, people are more open to meeting people outside of their town, outside of their city. They're
Okay.
okay with long distance relationships. And that makes me very happy because it just opens up the pool of available persons
Sure.
to introduce to them. I'm also my marriage is a product of a long distance relationship, so it's something that I know can work from experience, and I like to work with people that are open to again dating long distance. Like it's not
Sure. Sure.
for them. So I would say that that's one of the things that has changed. The fact that again people are open to dating more long distance.
Mm-hmm.
And also, just like what we're doing now, Zoom video calls. First dates are done by video calls most of the time, believe it
You
or
know,
not.
I hadn't even thought of that.
Yeah.
I I had not even thought of that, but it makes so much sense. It makes so much sense now because we're living in COVID compromised times,
Yeah.
and a lot of things have become more virtual. What do you call it?
Is it
We've
virtual,
become so much. I'm sorry.
virtual dating or
Yes, yes, yes. But a lot of things. I mean, just a lot of things. Just life, work, dating. So many things have become virtual friendly.
yeah.
Wow. Okay, so Timothy has a question. Hey, Tim. He asks, does going to a dating business mean you have failed as it pertains to dating?
I wouldn't say that at all. I think that it's just another avenue of finding someone that you're interested. It's another avenue of dating, right? So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
most of the people that come to me, they've exhausted online dating. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
online dating, it's so much quantity, which is great, but for busy people, too much quantity can be overwhelming. And then there's also people misrepresentation. So while you have that
Sure.
quantity, you may not have the person really who they say they are.
Right.
Case. So, moving from that over into working with someone who's fully vetting, running background checks, having, these interviews, making sure that your criteria matches their criteria, and working with serious relationship minded individuals. That's a win-win for someone who's really looking for love. So I would
Right.
just say it's just another exploration of helping that person find someone to date seriously.
That's interesting. I wasn't aware you said running background checks as well. So there is an extensive process.
It is, yes, it is. And that
So
mhm.
I was going to ask, like, how long? Timothy says thanks, by the way. But I was curious. I am curious to know how long is the vetting process for you before you'll take on a client.
Well, so the vetting process is usually done during a consultation for the client. But when
Okay.
I'm looking for a match for my client, that's when the vetting process for my client begins. And it's very similar to a consultation that I would have with my client. So I'll have my client's profile in front of me, and
Mm-hmm.
it's essentially an interview, Carol. But
Okay.
I mean, for all intents and purposes, it's an interview. So I'm looking at my client's profile, and I'm creatively asking about them to make sure that it is a match. Because if I just say, tell me about yourself, what do you do for a living, but just kind of boring questions, I don't. They can answer it, but I really want to know if like their key life values matches my client's key life values, right?
Mm.
So a fun question or a creative question would be, what do you find yourself doing on a Friday night? So work is over, you're done with work, you have no plans Friday night. What would you engage in? What activity would you engage in to keep yourself occupied?
Sure.
That type of question would help me figure out if that person is an outdoorsy person or more of a homebody. And if whatever it is, there's no right or wrong answer.
Right.
Compatible with my client. And that's what I'm trying to figure out. No right or wrong answers, just compatibility.
Right. That makes sense to me. Makes all the sense in the world to me. Family, you hear that, right? Just compatibility. And so, if you've just joined us, you're tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD. Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online. We are talking about matchmaking. We are talking about dating. We are talking about finding love. And we are talking with TRENIA Norford. She is the founder of Connectricity, a matchmaking service. It's time for us to take just a short break, but you knew that was coming, right? But family, stay with us, because we're coming right back. But do know, I should let you know, the phone lines are still open, and feel free to continue to comment on our socials. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
This Labor Day, we celebrate the people putting in the work to uplift our community. Tune in to WURD Radio on Monday, September 4th from 7 a.m. until 10 p.m. and hear the Community Impact Award recipients share their life's journey and groove to the playlist that represents the soundtrack to their lives. Feel inspired by the life lessons of Mika Johnson, CEO of All Black Everything Pop-Up, Dr. Delana Wardlaw, and Dr. Elena McDonald of the Twin Sister Docs, Jasmine A. Smith, founder of Icon Sports League, and our very own Troy Wilmore, technical production manager, radio show producer, and remote broadcast engineer. Also, tune in for the encore broadcast of the 2021 Community Impact Award winners, Theater in the X. That's the Putting in the Work Labor Day special, Monday, September 4th from 7 a.m. until 10 p.m. only on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
When you take a walk around your neighborhood and notice all the things that make it feel like home, one thing might be a little harder to notice because somewhere tucked in that neat row of houses is hunger. Over 30 million Americans don't know where their next meal is coming from. Together, we can provide 1 billion meals by 2030 because everyone should be welcome at the table. Learn more at nourishingneighbors.com from Acme Markets, Balducci's, and King's Foundations. Let's break the cycle of hunger together.
Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor. Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Visit manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
Need a minute? Take a breath and breathe in positivity. Here are words of joy and empowerment from WURD Radio.
For Haiku by Beverly Lomax. Dive into water. Relax and come to the top. Swim life's obstacles. I let go of fear. I hold on to love and laugh. I be strong and sing. Clarity, my friend. Hold my hand and show me way. We grow together. Meditate, sing, dance. Wade in the waters of life. Come through strong and clear. I'm Beverly Lomax.
This joy and empowerment vignette was brought to you by Comcast.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
I think I know what love is.
Well, hello there, family. Welcome back. You're tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick. We're talking about love. We're talking about matchmaking, to be exact. And I'm going to go to our socials just to check and see what our family members are sharing with us. Cheryl is sharing. Hi there, Cheryl, by the way. Hey there, girl. Hey, girl. She's sharing. Good evening, everybody. My mother called me and she told me that she dreamed of my husband. She described him to me and he came to me the next day. I stayed alone for 10 years. We've been together 17 years, married 11 this year. I hated dating. Incidentally, we both went to the same elementary, junior high, and high school. Grew up in the same neighborhood, and both of our fathers were policemen. Our birthdays are a week apart, and we are both musicians. She writes that mom taught her to wait on God. She also shares they didn't actually meet until they were really grown in their 50s. Mark is sharing a hello. Hey there, Mark. Mark Walker, by the way. Hey there, Mark. Always happy to have you join us as well. And Antoinette is asking, are you using surveys that analyze emotional intelligence like Myers-Briggs?
Antoinette, that's a fantastic question. I am a big believer in those tests, the personality tests. I promise you it's on my list because I'm a huge fan of the personality tests, and I think it tells a lot about the person. It's on my list to add to my database. My only concern would be, if when a questionnaire gets too long, the people start kind of deviating, like they start multitasking and they'll come back. So that's always been a concern for me. But the fact that you brought that back up, I almost just want to take a note, like right now, to just ask the question: if you've taken the Myers-Briggs test or any personality test, what was your result? So that I can measure that. And you know what, Antoinette, thank you for asking. And I think I'm going to add that to my my questionnaire tomorrow, like immediately, because
So
I
I'm
think
going.
it's awesome. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, no, that was my fault. I'm sorry to have interrupted. But for our family members who may be unfamiliar, would you share with us about Myers-Briggs, please?
Yeah, so it's a personality test. It allows you to find out how you the type of how you can what type of environment you operate best in, right? So like for me, I am what's my score? So I am an extrovert, but I'm an extrovert in some situations, but very much an introvert in other situations, right? Why? Because I regain my energy. Like I become more energetic when I'm alone and in my thoughts. Some people, an extrovert in these personality tests, an extrovert is defined as someone who gains energy from other people. I'm not that person. So
Okay.
while I may seem like I'm an extrovert, I can talk to you, I can talk to everyone in the room and work the room. My energy will come when I'm in closed doors by myself, meditating and inhaling, exhaling, and I didn't know that about myself until I took that test. So, and it was right on. It's very true that's who I am. So I like those tests because, and then it goes a little deeper. I mean, I just gave you an example, but it goes a little deeper as well as just kind of letting if you're more of a strategic thinker or kind of more on just like on the whim, like you just kind of, you know what I mean? So it breaks it down to the type of thinker you are, the type of environment you thrive in. It's all that. So I love those tests because again, it helps me with my compatibility, right? So if there's someone who's an extrovert, then maybe they don't really necessarily need to be with an extrovert, right? We don't need people fighting for attention in a room. So, but if it's an introvert who is okay with socializing, then maybe that would be a good connection.
So are there any tests that you do incorporate in the process, like in the beginning stage when you're interviewing?
Yeah, no, I don't. I mean, it's a pretty detailed questionnaire. that I have everyone complete.
Sure.
And once they complete it, then we'll have a consultation. We'll have an interview. And based on, the question, the way they answered their questions, and also just kind of my experience with like talking and interviewing people over the years, I'm just able to kind of take my notes based on what they've said and what I'm asking further in our consult.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Antoinette shares that she is an introvert unless she is extremely comfortable. I know that's right. She prefers intimate settings. When it's a large group, she's okay, but it is draining. I know, right? And she follows that with letting us know that she's analytical and not very spontaneous, but she wants to be more spontaneous. And Miss Shirley is joining us. Good evening to you as well, Miss Shirley Carter. Always happy to have our family members join the conversation. That's it's really interesting. These tests that but let us know, break it down for us to let us know who we really are. Well, I guess, to let us know, because sometimes there are things that you just don't think about yourself, or things with which you are unaware.
Right.
You're just so used to being you.
Yeah.
And then you read this and say, oh, wait a minute now, but that really is me. That's exactly what
It helps you understand yourself better. And it also helps you with your dealings with other people,
It makes sense. It makes so much sense to me. Oh my goodness. I cannot thank you enough for coming back to visit with us. And I hope you will do so again. Quite honestly, we always enjoy your visits. Family, I'm looking at the time. And, we're coming on that time. I will ask you if you will share with our family members once again how to look you up, how to find out in case they want your services.
Sure. So, you can, two ways. You can go straight to my website and there'll be a form to contact me. My website is connectricitymatch.com. I can spell it CONNECTRICITY match, MATCH.com. So connectricitymatch.com. And, I'm also on Instagram and LinkedIn. Instagram is Connectricity. LinkedIn is my name, TRENIA JOHNSON NORFORD. And so those are like the three main ways to get in contact with me.
I love it. Family, did you get that? I wanted to spell it slow. I did add it on our socials as well, but Connectricity, CONNECTRICITY. Match, MATCH.com. In case you want to find the love of your life and you want Trenia to help you do so. Once again, Trenia, thank you so much for joining us and for letting us know that you're out there to help us in our search.
Absolutely.
And again, will you come back? You'll come back and visit us.
100%. I would love to.
Yay. Now, especially now since you're expanding, you've got a whole nother branch that you're about to build. Yes. Well, we look forward to it. So thank you for coming, and we will see you next time. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Karen.
Right. Thank you. Family. Oh, I'm looking at the time, and it is that time. Oh, I just want to say, family, as we praise God, hello, and as we wrap up tonight's episode, just want to exhale first and just say once again, for all the love that each and every one of you showed me, particularly last week as we did our hometown show at the Dell. Just thank you beyond words and understanding. Thank you for all of the love. Thank you to those who came. Thank you to those who wanted to do so and all that good stuff. And I do want to share too that, when I make comments on the show about certain things, and I was talking about medicine and things of that nature, and y'all know I have friends from every walk of life. I have family from every walk of life, but I do believe there are forces at play. And I want to be specific when I say that. I want to be clear, I should say, when I say that. But to all of our guests for sharing their time, energy, space, knowledge, spirit, and attention with us, to the entire WURD family, thank you so much. And family, you know what I'm going to say. Remember that we are all in this together. So be good to you. You hear me? You be so good to you. Be good to you, but you make sure that you are good to those around you. Y'all have a great night, and be sure to join me Monday through Thursday, 7 till 9 p.m. Eastern Time for another edition of Love and Life right here on WURD. Have a good night, family. I love you, but God loves you so much more.